unfortunately, this sort of camaraderie within the chess world, and it's sort of normal in the chess community that men would all go to the bar afterwards after a game and then all, sort of harass the women, and it's seen as just banter, and if you don't take it, then you're kind of pathetic, and then you're bullied for that instead.
A group of top female chess players are urging other players to come forward as they call out widespread sexual violence and misogyny across the game. 14 French players published an open letter last week saying harassment and assault from players, coaches, arbiters and managers were the key reasons girls stopped playing chess. We're joined now by Sabrina Chevannes, an international chess master and world-renowned chess coach. She's managing director of the London Academy of Chess and Education. Morning to you, Sabrina.
Good morning.
Are you surprised by this, or is this a thing that you've always recognised exists within the sport of chess?
Sadly, I'm not surprised at all. It's something. It's the reason I stopped playing chess, and it's something that's completely prevalent, but it's been sat on and suppressed for several years. I guess they don't want to ruin the image that chess is a gentleman's game and it's full of well-to-do people and nothing bad ever happens in it. But sadly, it's a very common occurrence.
Tell us about your experience then. What stopped you?
Where do I start? I guess it's the constant fear of tournaments where you go to and you cannot relax because you are consistently being hit on by other men. You are propositioned to go back to their room. You are forced into situations you don't want to be in, and then you see even worse situations where people are promising that you will get XYZ, whether that's a selection for a team place or whether it's coaching if you do other inappropriate behavior with them, and this is just normal at all these events, which is absolutely terrifying, and obviously on top of all the other things that go on, which are just general everyday misogyny and sexism. It's pretty atrocious.
And why is it then? Is it because there are relatively few women there, and the men who are there are in the majority and are entitled people, and maybe they feel intellectually strong and therefore they feel they're untouchable? Is there a sort of combination of too few women and men with sort of power complexes which may be connected to their ability at chess, or their feelings about their ability of chess?
I definitely think there's a lot of that. The ratio for men to women is ridiculous. I'd say maybe 30-1 at some of the tournaments, and there's definitely that superiority complex, and you wouldn't think it, but a lot of it comes from grandmasters. You probably remember the story that came out just a few months ago about a prominent grandmaster who's now under investigation, and it happens like that. But I also think it's a lot of the times a lot of these men have not had attention from women outside of chess, and they may not have been necessarily the most popular people at school or the best at sport, and so they haven't had a lot of female attention, but suddenly they're amazing at chess and they're at the top of their game, and suddenly they're seen as the leading people, and they sort of abuse that power and that sort of status and try to get as much as they can out of it and just don't know how to go about it, and it's just a bit wrong.
And when it happened to you, presumably the problem is that you can't say anything to anyone, no one's listening. Is that the problem, that if someone acts inappropriately to you as a great chess player yourself, there's no one to say, hang on, he just did that, will you stop it or kick him out? Is that a problem? There's no real reporting of this?
Yeah, there's first of all the processes within chess is non-existent. So there's not actually any sort of process to do this. If you do sort of send it to the English Chess Federation, it doesn't get looked into properly. I'd say that there's definitely a case of for situations where you say this happened and they're like, oh, it can't possibly have happened. He's such a well-to-do grandmaster, and so they would say they would never believe someone like myself over that person, so you can't do it. But I also think there's unfortunately this sort of camaraderie within the chess world, and it's sort of normal in the chess community that men would all go to the bar afterwards after a game and then all sort of harass the women, and it's seen as just banter, and if you don't take it, then you're kind of pathetic, and then you're bullied for that instead, and so it's seen as normal. Unfortunately, this sort of behavior is absolutely norm in the chess world.
It's so depressing to hear that, but it's so interesting to hear it put so clearly. And as you're explaining it, you can see how insidiously this could get established in a culture. Sabrina, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us. That's Sabrina Chevannes there. She's an international chess master, world-renowned chess coach. And you can just imagine these people, sort of self-lionizing people who think and are indeed super intelligent, and therefore feel that gives them license to to act in an untouchable way.
Yeah, it's a very difficult mindset to get into. I was trying my best, but I still don't quite understand why on earth people are behaving like this. But it was really interesting to speak to Sabrina.